but this is the year. And to answer that question of whether or not YouTube is still on easy mode in 2026, at this point, I don't quite know yet. And so as we go into the download this week, I'll walk you through what has happened so far in my YouTube journey, as this is a brand new channel. And this last week was actually the first week that I had published my very first YouTube video. And so I scheduled that out on Monday to go out on Tuesday, and I was shocked by the results of the first 24 hours because is YouTube still on easy mode in 2026? So I remember last year I had come across this title, this thumbnail over and over again on YouTube about how YouTube is on easy mode in 2025. And around this time, or actually even before this time, so maybe it was around December 2024, I had decided that YouTube was going to be my preferred platform for creating and documenting my ideas and my journey over the last 5-6 years of running an online content business while being a stay-at-home mom. And there were a number of reasons why I had chosen YouTube as that platform. I have them listed out. Number one is that I just feel like it is the most sustainable for me, especially since I'm coming on here once everybody in the house is asleep, when I have no one to take care of, and I have quiet time all to myself to be able to record and reflect and do this, sit in front of the camera. I felt like it was perfect for building this log of ideas and truly documenting my growth. I often feel like short form platforms are very limiting as far as creativity goes, and needing to take thoughts that require processing and require just elaborating upon more and chopping them into little bite-sized pieces to make sure that it fits into a carousel or into a bunch of different reels. And I just felt like that format was actually more tedious to keep up with, and it takes a longer time to build. In some way. And you pick and you choose, but I just felt like YouTube was a better fit for me as far as documenting this journey. I also feel like on YouTube, I wouldn't constantly be changing formats. So I can sit here in front of the camera and do like this talking head style video. I am able to film just the daily happenings of life. And if I want to venture out into some more cinematic style work, I can go ahead and do that, or I could just do more vlog style stuff as well, which I'm open to doing as I grow in my craft and my creativity of filming and editing here on YouTube. But I feel like the formats aren't constantly changing and limits aren't placed on creativity in that sense, because on Instagram or TikTok or any of those faster paced platforms where content doesn't last as long, I do feel like you need to limit your creativity into the formats that are working, because it's either everybody sees it and your piece of content goes viral, which has happened a couple of times, or nobody sees it, not even the people who actually follow you. And so it's difficult to find that in between over there, but also because I personally don't really enjoy consuming content on those platforms anymore. I feel like my brain just feels fried every time I log on, and quite frankly, I don't really care about what's happening over there. It's like a bulletin board now just to keep up with certain brands or different accounts that inspire me. But as far as seeing little tidbits of people's lives, it's not really quite a priority for me to keep up with it, nor does the explore page or anything on the feed really call out to me, because I forget about the content right after I watch it. There's really nothing there that incites action and actual genuine learning in the way that it does when I'm able to take in a longer form video about something specifically that I'm already working on. So am I working on a project, and am I trying to figure out how to edit in a particular way or how to project manage or set up a particular board. I'm able to actually retain what I'm learning when I sit down with someone like this, speaking to the camera and actually instructing me on what's going on, a lot better than a reel where I never remember the person's face ever again unless I've seen a lot of their content because they've gone viral multiple times. The next one is that this functions as a strong search engine, and the different topics that I am uncovering here are things that I feel like won't be narrowed down to a particular time frame. And so talking about my story and how the experience was being a first-time mom and also transitioning into working from home during my maternity leave, that's not really something that is only relevant to that time period when that happened. It is something that I feel like can resonate with anyone going through that time in their life, and it'll still be relevant and something that I would want to look back on 10 years down the road from now. Another point is that I find long form content like here on YouTube is just a better way to build genuine connections and trust. When I come across someone's video here on YouTube, I feel like I'm actually sitting down with them and I get to know bits and pieces of their life and their personality, and I form more of an attachment than I would if I came across someone else's account on shorter form platforms, because on those platforms, it's mostly the topic that stands out to me if I do decide to sit with something for longer, if I decide to save it. Whereas here, I feel like I am actually connecting with the person because of the time spent together and the amount that I'm able to see them elaborate and narrate more of their story and their preferences and just their life in general. The next one is the increase of TV streamed content. I feel like this is also a preferred way that I consume content these days. Usually in the afternoons, I'll just stream a video from my phone onto the TV because my toddler is playing and normally she just ignores what is going on the TV. And so I can usually get some of my own me time for learning or for, just relating to someone on YouTube versus having her see me on my device and watching via my phone. And then related to that is that tech is moving towards getting rid of handheld devices and more into wearables. And so just even looking at the stats of how much people have leaned towards TV streaming content and how many YouTube videos are actually watched on TV versus on the mobile devices these days shows that everyone is moving through a similar sort of transition where we want to be on our devices less. And so if we are going to be consuming content, let it be something that we grew up with, where TV was going on in the background and you could have it going, but you could also be working on or like moving around and doing something else within your house. And lastly, this sort of ties in with that, is that horizontal has always been my preferred way of documenting things. I didn't like having to switch to vertical content all the time because I felt like it was limiting and not as timeless. Like when I'm watching a video, say it's like a wedding recap or something like that, I want to watch it in a horizontal format because that is the way that I take movies in. And so it felt degrading to film so many of life's precious moments in a 16 by 9, I believe it is, format, just so it can be shared onto Instagram or TikTok. And I just love that when I am going to be taking any videos of our life, that it is going to be in this horizontal style, and I can keep using that footage for however long I want to be able to use it and repurpose it in whatever way is relevant for us and our family. So those are the many reasons why I decided upon going through with YouTube as my primary platform for documentation back at the tail end of 2024. I didn't get around to it and it is now 2026, but this is the year. And to answer that question of whether or not YouTube is still on easy mode in 2026, at this point, I don't quite know yet. And so as we go into the download this week I'll walk you through what has happened so far in my YouTube journey, as this is a brand new channel. And this last week was actually the first week that I had published my very first YouTube video. And so I scheduled that out on Monday to go out on Tuesday, and I was shocked by the results of the first 24 hours because I don't think there were any external views aside from me clicking on the video, which I think totaled to about four views. And it was just something that I am completely not used to, being someone who has been a content strategist, who has worked with content in general for many different founders and organizations. I'm very much used to seeing feedback immediately on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Substack even. All of these platforms, you can usually get a good sense of how something is performing by at least the first 24 hours, whereas I saw absolutely nothing on YouTube. So it was a total shock for me. And on that second day, I was starting to think, did I do something horribly wrong? Did I miss something entirely that made this video go absolutely nowhere? And my answer to that, I actually don't know still. So how I decided to progress forward after that point is I scheduled my second YouTube video, which was to go out 2 days later. And so once that video went out, my first video started to gain some traction, and so did my second video. And at that point, I started to think, okay, maybe YouTube just needs to gain some trust in me and see that I'm not going to be somebody who posts and ghosts after one video. And so perhaps I just need to post more videos about a similar topic so that YouTube can get a sense of which audiences to push my videos out to. And I've watched a number of videos from people who have grown their channels for the first time. As I mentioned, I had seen so many of those headings or those titles where YouTube was on easy mode in 2025. And so a lot of the advice that I had received from watching those videos was not to share your link or your videos with other external channels. So I didn't share my videos or tell anybody, even my husband. So my husband, I don't know if he has searched me up or anything, but he's never received a direct link to the videos to the videos that I've posted so far on YouTube, because I want to get the right audience and not people who just know me and want to see what I'm up to by clicking on the link that I post on an Instagram story or something. So everything is purely organic so far. And yeah, at that point I was thinking maybe I should post more videos. And so it is now the end of that entire week, and we can go through what the stats look like right now since having posted my first video, or first 4 videos, because I got 4 videos out in that first week. My highest viewed video is the very first video that I posted, and that is now at 84 views, 4 comments, and 11 likes. And overall, I have 12 subscribers right now. And so it was really encouraging to start to see comments come in from other people who were brand new to YouTube as well. It was nice to, receive that encouragement and also go onto their channels and encourage them too. But since then, since having posted the 4th video over the weekend, I had it scheduled out for the Saturday. I haven't gotten any new subscribers or any sort of significant traction since that point. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with this 4 videos per week cadence. I feel like it's a lot, especially if you watched my previous videos. You'll know that I have a baby coming at the end of March or the beginning of April, and so it is going to be a little bit crazy. And I think 1 video a week is much more sustainable for me. It is what I committed to at the very beginning, and is probably what I will now be going back to after having seen that 4 videos didn't really make too much of a difference, and 1 video a week is going to keep me going much longer than trying to do 4 every single week. And so that's my update. I know I've been updating on other business things over my last couple of downloads. If you're here and this is your first video, my bare minimum is basically to film these chatty videos every single week and just to document the growth that I have been going through, any sort of observations that I've had. So usually I do share about client work, or I share about things that I've shared or things that I've posted over on Substack, and any significant offerings or new things that I've come up with or tested. But this week is very YouTube heavy because it is my first week, and that's actually more of what I want to document on here. So I'm going to leave this video at that and keep it as more of a general YouTube update on how things have been going so far. But if there is a significant update within the next couple of months of whether or not I firmly believe that YouTube is still on easy mode in 2026, or whether I think that is completely out the window and something has changed between 2025 and 2026, I will report back on it. And if anything, I'm sure it's just something that I'm doing. Maybe it's my thumbnails, maybe it's my title. If you are someone who has grown on YouTube and you happen to know, I'd love to hear in the comments where you think I can improve, and I will do my best to do that. But thanks so much for sitting here with me for this chat, for this week's download, and I hope you will stick around and we can grow together.